Hello everyone, this is VG Time back again with another deck profile, and this time we're looking at the Lord Slug leader. This leader right here gained a lot of support with the recent release of DB6 6, and I just wanted to share with you guys my take on the deck and give you some suggestions. So what does Lord Slug do? Lord Slug allows you to take a life to hand to give himself critical. This is important for two reasons. One, he's self-awakening, which is always great. It's something that you kind of want to see in your leader, or at least some mode in order to be able to do so. And then the other thing is that the critical he has allows you to pressure your opponent's life total without giving them cards. That's key because Lord Slug is a hand control deck when you look at the sum of his parts. So the ability to attack without fear of giving your opponent cards back and then trying to figure out a way to take the cards back away is really cool. When he gets to 4 or less life, he gets to draw 2 cards to flip over. And this is important because that creates a hand side disparity. So a lot of leaders now either untaps 2 or untap 1 and draw 1. The fact that you're untap 2, especially with his activate main once per turn, which allows you to pitch a card from your hand to make your opponent discard a card from their hand, is very important to his overall game plan. And of course, he still has the ability to swing and draw a card. So first we're going to start with the original support, and then we're going to show you what the new DB6 6 cards are and how they help out the deck. So first up, we have 4 copies of Wings the Morale Booster. This guy right here allows you to reduce the cost of your Slug's armies by 1. He himself has Barrier and the old version of Unique. Next up, for searching, we have 2 copies of Lord Slug Return to Form. This guy searches any Slug's army with cost 4 or less, which covers just about every card that is a Slug's army in this deck. Then we have our primary attacker, Adonic Warrior Angela. So Angela, like I said, is our primary attacker for the deck, and he has the bond mechanic for Slug's army. So he's bond 2 Slug's army. This guy has the ability when he swings to make your opponent discard a card. So on top of being 15k and critical, he makes your opponent discard a card every time he swings. With Wings, you can play him out easily on turn 2. And between your leader crit attack and this crit attack and the discard, it should further promote the way the deck is trying to play. Next up, we have our largest card in the deck, which is 4 copies of Lord Slug Young Again. This card right here is amazing, especially if it is not answered by counterplay. This guy right here, when he comes into play, has an auto bond 2 that says that you could bring back a 3 cost or less Slug's army from your drop area into play, and then untap 1 of your energy. So that allows you to get back Angela, of course, which is very good. He can also get back to Searcher to get another card. But the primary card that you really want to get with this guy is Lord Slug, Agent of Destruction. He has a come into play ability to make your opponent discard 1 card from their hand. And then he has an activate main once per turn that allows you to pay a green to play a 3 cost or less Slug's army battle card from your hand, except for Lord Slug, Agent of Destruction. So you can play Angela, of course, as well as these cards right here from your hand. Next up, we have 2 copies of Zeon the Loyal. Zeon the Loyal is your free blocker, and he has the ability to just basically make sure that your bonds go on. Sometimes they're able to destroy Wings or something else you might have on the table. You always just drop a Zeon for free and then guarantee that you get your bonds. Next up, we're going to go into the new yellow support because that's where the deck is going. And if you like what you're seeing so far, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to see more videos in the future. So we have Lord Slug, Super Namekian. This card right here is possibly the most hyped card I had in the set. And the reason being is that he allows you to search and put it directly into play wings. You could pay yellow, discard them from your hand, put a 1 cost Slug's army from your deck into play. Of course, wings being one of your primary targets. And then he also has a cool ability in his own right if he's in play, that if he's in rest mode, your opponent cannot add cards to their hand from their deck due to skills other than their leader skills. So that means it turns off their searchers, it turns off their super combos when you're on offense. That's why sometimes if you're going for game, you kind of wanted to swing with him first. Now, besides wings, he also gets you this absolute animal of a card, which is Lord Slug, Evil Invader. This card right here is a powerhouse. So it's a 1 cost that when it comes into play draws you a card, and you could pay yellow to send him to the drop area to play a Slug's army with a original cost of 3 from your hand into play. That's pretty important because it allows you to put directly into play on turn 2 Lord Slug, Agent of Destruction, to then start his ability to play 3 drops from your hand into play as early as turn 2. So the difference is that you get basically 1 less turn reduction with this guy than even wings give you, because wings makes the deck 1 cost cheaper. This makes the deck 2 costs cheaper. So you go into Slug, you pay green with Slug, and you could go into an Angela or into this guy, of course, to further on the pressure. But preferably you want Angela. Speaking of Angela, we have 2 copies of Angela Graceful Warrior. This card right here is also pretty cool. It's unique. It has the ability that says that when it swings, if your opponent has 4 more cards in rest mode, you get to choose, your opponent gets to choose 2 of them, and they can't untap until the start of your next turn. So if they choose their energy, they won't be able to use their leader skills to be able to untap it. They wouldn't be able to use beans or anything like that to untap it. And if they are forced in a situation where they only really have like a unison or in their leader route, or they have like a tap battle card in their leader, they have to make a decision whether or not they want to lose attackers as well. This next card is more of a tech choice because right now we're getting into the utility. I wanted a bunch of yellow, so I played 3 copies of Godly Destruction Whis. This could easily be 2 or none or substituted with some other card. But I chose this because Soul Striker is a deck. And Soul Striker gets around the cunning cards because they don't care about leader skills, but he does. He also is hard for Soul Striker to take off the table because they don't run a lot of targeted removal. Next up, we have 4 copies of Assimilate. Assimilate is a cool card. It's made for Namekians and allows you to get 2 costs or less Namekians directly from your deck to your hand. So not only can you get this guy right here, so it's a secondary searcher for him, you can also get the searcher as well as the next card, which is 4 copies of Namekian Dual Sino. Now I do suggest, and this is a change I'm going to make as well in the future, I do suggest you do 2 Sino, 2 of the green Piccolo super combo. Reason being is that Piccolo is a 0-10k super combo, so you want to be able to make sure that you have at least some number of 0-10ks. Alternatively, you could choose not to go with this super combo. Green just has a wealth of super combos to choose from, but I do suggest at least some number of a Namekian super combo to use with Assimilate. But you can use Nappa with the deck, which is very strong. You can use Android 18 with the deck, which is very, very strong. You can use Paragus with the deck to help dig through it harder. It's all up to your personal preference. Next up, I run a small black package. 3 copies of Son Goku Power Legend. If your opponent discards a card, you get to play him from your hand for free. He's also a 15k crit attacker, which is the ongoing theme of this deck, it seems. And he's one of your few sources of removal because you can warp him to warp one of your opponent's battle cards with cost 4 or less. But then you're not allowed to play another copy of him for the turn. Next up, continuing the black, we have 2 copies of Dark Temptation Toa. Her main effect is that she makes your opponent discard a card, but she also gives you green or yellow leader plus 5k. So you could make him a 15k crit attacker on the front side to further pressure your opponent's life total. And then lastly, we play 4 copies of Sacrifice. I wanted to keep the deck to 50 cards because of how important it is to see Wings or the Invader on turn 1, and to make sure that you have your proper colors. So your only super combo right here is going to be Sacrifice, which is the Namekian super combo. It allows you to take life at any point to activate it. So that's basically what we're looking at. There's other options that you could do with it as well. I already talked about the super combo options. Another one is to maybe reduce the Whis by 1 or 2. And if you really wanted to add in, if you really wanted for a ultimate, Cell Xeno, which I think is pretty easy for this deck to be able to pull off. Also, you could add the multicolor cards that they printed into the deck. There's Ingilla that's green-yellow, and there is a Slug that's green-yellow, and both of them have the green-yellow mechanic, I forgot, Successor. And they're pretty cool cards. Issues were that I was never really a fan of having 110Ks in my hand in this particular deck. And right now the deck is all 5k combos, and I think that's the way I kind of want to keep it. So again, look forward to further deck profiles down the line. I believe we have Yellow Gohan coming up. We also have some variant of Perudagarn I'm working on right now, as well as possibly showing you guys a burn variant, depending on if I could get the cards in on time. So thank you again for watching the video, and this is VG Time signing out.